What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to sit down, dim the lights a little bit, and talk about a topic that I guarantee is going to make a lot of you curious, but also send a chill down your spine. We are opening the top secret files on the 7 princes of hell. To be honest with you guys, I've had requests to cover this topic for a long time now, and yes, I read all your comments. But here's the thing. This is an incredibly complex subject. There is so much information out there, and a lot of it is like a game of telephone. Versions get mixed up and details get lost. I really had to dive deep into the rabbit hole, sifting through old documents and connecting the dots between legends to bring you the most complete and accurate video possible. That's why it took me a while to get this one up, so thanks for bearing with me on the delay. Now do me a favor, close your eyes for a second and imagine, when you hear the word prince, what pops into your head? Is it a handsome guy on a white horse, charming, cool? Maybe a little aloof like a K-drama lead or a Disney character? Sounds romantic, right? Well, let me stop you right there. With the 7 princes we are about to discuss, instead of swooning or falling in love, you should probably be terrified. Because these guys don't rule over magnificent castles. They rule over the deepest pits of darkness and in the Bible and theological texts. The 7 princes of hell are sometimes collectively referred to by one very simple, familiar name: Satan. However, you need to understand something important. Satan here isn't always a specific person's name. Sometimes it's a title, a general term used to describe the group of 7 demons with the highest rank, power, and authority in the hierarchy of hell. And the story of how these 7 princes came to be, it all starts with an event that shook both heaven and hell to their cores: the rebellion of Lucifer. To really understand this, we have to rewind the clock, all the way back to the dawn of time. In Christian theology, before he was the Lord of Demons, Lucifer was a top-tier archangel. Picture this: an angel with 3 pairs of pure white wings, radiating a brilliant aura, literally known as the light bringer. Back then, Lucifer was the supreme advisor to heaven. He barely ever interacted with lower creations. His rank was second only to God himself. During that golden era, Lucifer was admired by all the other angels. He was brave, talented, and wise, but hidden deep inside was an arrogance and a rebellious streak like no other. There was a paradox in Lucifer. He loved and trusted God absolutely, but he despised humans. Why? Because humans were God's favorite creation. The ones he spoiled the most. It was this jealousy that planted the seeds of discord. The breaking point came when God finished creating humanity. He issued a command that sent shockwaves through heaven. He demanded that all angels, these high and mighty beings of light, bow down to humans and serve them. For someone as proud as Lucifer, this was a slap in the face. He saw it as the ultimate insult. His logic was, I was the first creation. I was forged from sacred fire. Why should I bow to this weak species molded out of dirty clay? He felt God had betrayed his trust and love, and just like that, love turned into hate. Lucifer raised the banner of rebellion, kicking off the most epic and tragic war in history. The war between heaven and hell. He wasn't alone. Lucifer used his eloquence and authority to recruit 14,400 other angels, who would later be known as the fallen angels, to stand with him against the Almighty. Lucifer's arrogance is best summed up in his declaration of war, recorded in the Bible. He screamed right in the middle of the sanctuary, I, Lucifer, will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the Mount of Assembly, on the heights of Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But as you guys know, villain stories rarely have happy endings. When the dust settled, Lucifer and his army of fallen angels were crushed. They were stripped of their halos, their wings were broken, and they were permanently exiled from heaven, cast straight into the dark abyss as punishment for their sins. From an angel of light, Lucifer became the embodiment of lust, blind pride, and rebellion. To this day, he maintains that humans are inferior, and he is the supreme being born of fire. I want to pause here for a second to explain something that's honestly a bit of a head-scratcher and causes a lot of confusion: the relationship between Lucifer and Satan. Some people believe Satan and Lucifer are the same person. The theory is that after being cast down, Lucifer changed his name to Satan to erase his past. But there's another school of thought, based on ancient texts, that says they are 2 totally different characters. According to this second view, Satan was also an angel created by God, but different. If Lucifer had 3 pairs of wings, Satan had 6 pairs. Both were incredibly powerful. Satan was created on the 6th day of creation, and his power rivaled God's. He was one of the few rulers at the very top of existence. The reason Satan betrayed God also stemmed from jealousy over the love God showed Adam and Eve. But Satan fought his war differently. He targeted human innocence. It was Satan who transformed into the serpent, slithered into the Garden of Eden, and tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. After that, Satan was cast out and became the Lord of Hell. He represents pure evil, misery, and the worst kinds of corruption. Meanwhile, Lucifer wasn't initially a hostile force wanting to destroy God. He was the doubter, the failure, the one cast out because his ego was too big and he refused to listen. In fact, in the Bible, the name Lucifer is rarely mentioned directly. He mostly appears in legends and external texts. If you watch movies like the show Lucifer, you see him portrayed as a handsome guy, human-like, maybe with scars where his wings used to be. It's a punishment, but also a kind of deadly charm. So, are they the same guy or 2 different entities? Or is Satan just a job title for the leader of the opposition? It's still up for debate. But whether they are 1 or 2, together with other powerful demons, they form the 7 princes of hell, with each one ruling a specific layer and representing one of the 7 deadly sins. Let's dive into the dossier of each prince. The list includes Lucifer, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Belphegor, Mammon, Leviathan, and Behemoth. 1. Lucifer, the sin of pride. As I detailed earlier, Lucifer was the perfect angel. His name means light bringer or morning star. He was the most beautiful, the most talented, the strongest. Because he was perfect, he became arrogant. He couldn't handle serving humans. His rebellion took 1/3 of heaven's army with him. After losing, he became the demon lord of the 18 layers of hell. His punishment is eternal imprisonment, but he keeps his pride, remaining the eternal symbol of pride, the sin considered the root of all others. Point 2. Beelzebub, the sin of Gluttony. Next up is Beelzebub. Originally a high-ranking angel and advisor to God, he was the commander-in-chief during the rebellion, fighting right alongside Lucifer. After falling, Beelzebub became a powerful prince of hell. He has a very famous and terrifying nickname, Lord of the Flies. You know how flies are attracted to rot and filth? Beelzebub brings the worst plagues and the Black Death that wiped out millions in history. He can transform into a giant fly to spread disaster. He's also said to control armies of locusts, the ones that destroy crops and cause massive famines. That's why he represents gluttony. But he's also a tyrant. He started the practice of demon worship, waking up dark desires in priests, and causing jealousy and war between nations. Fun fact, he has a best friend named Bezaleel, a one-winged demon imprisoned in the Red Sea. Point 3. Asmodeus, the sin of this guy looks bizarre. He's usually described with 3 heads, a human, a ram, and a bull or horse. Base desires and carnal lust are his playground. Any sin related to sexual immorality, adultery, or assault is usually attributed to his whispering. Asmodeus rules the 2nd layer of hell and commands 72 legions of demons. But he has a weakness. He's terrified of water and birds, because they remind him of God's cleansing power. But his story isn't just about raw lust. The Book of Tobit tells a tragic and creepy love story. Despite being a demon of lust, Asmodeus fell deeply in love with a human girl named Sarah. He was so possessive that he haunted her. Sarah got married 7 times, and Asmodeus killed all 7 husbands on their wedding night before they could even consummate the marriage. He did it to ensure Sarah remained a virgin and belonged only to him. Talk about a toxic relationship, right? 4. Behemoth, the sin of wrath and hatred. Behemoth isn't a fallen angel in human form. He's a primal beast created by God since ancient times. He's described as a hybrid of the largest land animals, elephant, rhino, and hippo. He is massive and incredibly strong. Behemoth represents hatred and uncontrollable rage. He controls the land and continents and is the lord of the scorching desert. Legend has it that whenever Behemoth shifts his weight or gets angry, massive earthquakes happen, destroying everything on the surface. Point 5. Leviathan, the sin of embody. Behemoth is the king of the land. Leviathan is the terror of the deep. Also an ancient creation of God, Leviathan is a gigantic sea monster. He is violent and loves the smell of blood. He looks like a mix of a dragon, a sea serpent, and has scales as hard as a crocodile. Leviathan guards the gates of hell that connect to the human world. Back in heaven, Leviathan was actually a high-ranking seraphim angel. Some legends say it was actually Leviathan, not Satan, who turned into the snake and tempted Adam and Eve. Why? Because he was envious of how much God loved them. He wanted humans to fall just like him. There's a wild detail in Jewish texts about this monster's gender. God originally created a male and a female Leviathan, but realizing that if they reproduced, they would destroy the world, God killed the female. He salted her flesh to save for the banquet on the day the Messiah arrives. The male is still alive, hiding in the deep ocean, waiting for the apocalypse. Side note, some scientists think Behemoth and Leviathan might just be how ancient people described dinosaurs or massive whales they didn't understand. 6. Belphegor. The sin of Esel. This is a name fewer people know. Of the 7 princes, Belphegor looks the most low-key, but psychologically, he is dangerous. He is a master manipulator. Belphegor messes with the human mind, causing paranoia. He persuades people that they can have an easy, luxurious life, passive income, get rich quick, without putting in any effort. He plants the idea of wanting the reward without doing the work. He often appears as a beautiful woman to seduce men, or as a grotesque demon with horns sitting on a throne, which honestly people joke looks like a toilet, but there's a great story about him. Satan sent Belphegor to Earth to find proof of happiness and true love. He chose Paris, France, the city of love, for his research. After watching thousands of couples, he reported back to hell. He found zero evidence of true happiness. He concluded that humans trick themselves into thinking they are in love, but really they just marry for money or because they're scared of dying alone. Because of this, Belphegor hates love and marriage. He poisons people's minds, making them paranoid and lazy, turning them into soulless husks with no purpose. Quick correction. Some people confuse him with Beverly or Baphomet. But this prince of Sloth is definitely Belphegor. Baphomet is a symbol associated with the Knights Templar and modern Satanism, not part of this group. 7. Mammon, the sin of Jeridan. Finally, the last prince, Mammon. Even though he's on the list, he often gets overshadowed by his brothers. Mammon is the demon of money and material wealth. He's the one who blinds people with gold, making them sell their souls or turn on their own families for an inheritance. He is the literal embodiment of money is the root of all evil. So, that is the detailed dossier on the 7 princes of hell. From the pride of Lucifer, the gluttony of Beelzebub, the lust of Asmodeus, the envy of Leviathan, the wrath of Behemoth, to the manipulative sloth of Belphegor and greed of Mammon. These demons aren't just characters in a legend. They are metaphors for the darkest corners of the human soul. The war between heaven and hell might have ended eons ago, but the war inside our own minds to fight these temptations happens every single day. Which prince did you find the most impressive, or the most terrifying? Or do you know any other interesting myths about them? Don't hesitate to drop a comment down below so we can discuss. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there and listening to this long video. If you enjoyed it, smash that like button, share it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next mystery. For now, I'm signing off. See you in the next video. Have a great night. And don't have nightmares. Bye-bye.